Good evening, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the workshop. Welcome to Bude in Cornwall. I'm laughing because I just told one of my earworms to shut up, literally as I pressed the button to go live. And he hasn't been able to reply to me, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Welcome along. Before I bring my esteemed earworms in to talk about what we're here to talk about tonight, I have an apology to make to all of you. Dan, turn your YouTube off.
That's me. Do you know what that is? That's your stupid ads that are running alongside your videos. So anyway, carry on, Mark, as you were.
Right. Anyway, so tonight was supposed to be me finishing off hollowing the vase that I rough turned back in February. Good news is the vase is still on the lathe. The bad news is I kind of got carried away today when I was tidying it up, and I've actually hollowed it all out. So there isn't going to be very much to that. There's going to be no turning tonight at all. It's all going to be colouring, finishing, parting off. So there's going to be, it's completely hollowed. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
So it's not good enough, really, is it?
Yeah. And it has slightly changed shape as well because I don't know if anybody remembers last time, the rim had quite severe cracks in it. And I took the decision to lose the flared out rim because it was going to go anyway, I think. So just showing you quickly before I bring the guys in. This is the vase now. It did have an extended neck. We've lost that. I've opened up a couple of inclusions. There is another one down the bottom here that actually goes inside. This one is there as well. So I'm going to completely color this tonight. It's sanded on the inside. It's all finished on the inside. Does need a little bit of sanding extra on the outside. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Now I will bring in my guests after I've grovelled and apologised. So tonight I'm joined by Katie Armstrong, RPT, and Dan Smith, RPT. There's a theme gathering because your host is Mark Beckett, RPT. So it's an RPT evening tonight. We'll try not to bore you. Whenever we speak to each other, we have to say RPT because that's the rules.
It's a special handshake, isn't it, really? But we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Under the leg, all that stuff. They're going to be reading out who's in the chat, all the questions, and they're also going to be specifically talking about the Emerging Turners program, which is something we're all very excited about and we're all getting in ourselves behind. And I will put them in the background or to the side. Which do we want, to the side or the background?
I'd go background just so you can't see us doing gestures towards you.
Okay, I'll put them in the background. So they're going to say who's in. Dan could probably do that because he's got a laptop.
I've had a whistle-stop tour of how to actually operate half of this stuff on YouTube tonight, which has been helpful. So, okay, so I'm clicking the participants button, and starting at the top, we have Andy, the Valley Woodturner, Bundy Road. We've got Andy Mead, Barry Chitty, Copper Owl Woodturning, Dave Oatley, Douglas Mungham, Jury's Woodturn. We've got Mark Beckett Woodturn, would appear. James Crawford, Jason Leveron. We've got Katie. We've got Klondike Craftsman in. Malcolm Douglas, Martin Ford, Mick Dews, Norman Greenwell, Paul. Sorry if I pronounce these wrong. Paul Houghton. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks. It's like being back in English lesson. We've got Pete from Twisted Trees in. Hello, Pete. Shop Dog Workshop. Susie the Swiss Woodturner. There's me in here. Terry Bartlett. Terry Cox. Wivey Woodshed. Wonky Workshop. And Woodwork Learner is in so far, if that is accurate. So there we are. So,
right.
yeah.
So I'm just going to do a bit of sanding. I'm going to start with 120. I was going to go with the dust extractor. Now, because of the inclusion, when I get to the part with the inclusion, I'm angling the sander, so only the bottom bit of the pad touches, because I don't want it to go into the hole.
Have you got an interface pad on that as well then? Have you got a soft pad on that?
Just a medium one, yeah.
Right. So yeah, so I guess the opportunity is to tell you why. Well, not the reason why me and Katie are in, but one of the reasons why we're in, I guess, is that there's quite a number of the YouTubers are now starting to get behind what we're trying to promote. And the Emerging Turners Weekend, I'll let Katie talk about it a little bit more in depth, because actually Katie was on the last one, so she's probably the better person to talk about it, actually. So, Katie.
Oh, okay. Well, you started and decided to come.
I just thought I'd give you a nice little introduction there.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
Would you like me to do it in a different voice?
No, honestly,
okay.
Nobody else wants you to do that either, so I'll save everyone from that.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, the Emerging Turners, you might have seen it on a few others. I know that we've had a couple of people like Brian and Pete pushing it out as well, just getting some word spread about it. So basically what it was is last year, the RPT set up kind of, an experience, I guess. So it was a 3-day course in which aspiring or young turners were able to, got the chance to be a part of. So I was invited down by the chair of the RPT and kind of put this weekend on for everybody, and it was basically getting a lot of young turners, which, no offense to anybody, but it's quite rare. It's quite rare as a 21-year-old female. It's very rare to be the youngest in the room, and I think I was still the youngest in the room, but it was nice to be around people my own age doing the same thing and having a love that I have, but being able to kind of communicate more freely about it as young turners in a group.
What's wrong with the older turners, Katie?
I adore all the older turners. I have nothing against any of you. You all have a lot of experience, but this weekend is to put us young turners in a room with all of you guys who have experience.
Okay, you're well recovered.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it was a big weekend putting on so all these young turners could get together, be in a room full of professionals that you wouldn't normally get the chance to have a turn with or kind of see without paying stupid amounts of money. So this was essentially a free event put on for all of us to attend, and it was funded by the Worshipful Company last year. So the Worshipful Company of Turners actually paid for the event. We just had to kind of cover the cost of travel and accommodation. But when you get in what we got out of the weekend, it was, it was worth the money we paid. So they want to put it on again this year, which is great. So all the planning is going ahead for that. But the only issue is at the moment is we've got no funding for it. The Worshipful Company are still trying, but it's not yet been kind of approved, or it's not gone through, and it's getting a little bit close to the bone for this funding to come through in time for the weekend to kind of happen. So we've had a few of us kind of rally around and say we need to get it happening, because it's just a great experience for everybody involved, and to get the young turners interested and getting the safe and competent tuition in this craft is like a huge thing. It's something I'm very passionate about as a young turner, is safe turning and proper tuition from the right people. So the experience and the what you get out of it is quite important, really. So we're now trying to fund and get some funds together from everybody. We're all putting pieces in. So there's a few ways that you can go about it. There's probably a better explanation written than my rambling and fast talking. So
no, you're not talking that fast tonight. You're talking a little bit slower than you normally would. So yeah, you're doing well.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed she's still talking.
Well,
yeah,
I'm not.
Well, yeah. So there's probably a better worded written. I know that one of the other young turners put a little kind of page together explaining what it was. So if you missed anything I said, I'd kind of thought, oh, she's waffling. There's probably a better written page somewhere that you can read, and I think somebody has the link. So
I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in the chat.
There you go. So there's a link there that explains it probably in a bit more detail than what I have. So there's a couple of things that we're kind of asking, or not asking. It's all voluntary. You don't have to do any of this. It's just nice, and it would support a lot of us in getting this through. So We are all well, I say all of us. A lot of the young turners that went on the last weekend are all turning a piece, which is then going to be donated to the cause and put online, so that it's then going to be kind of raffled off. Not raffled, it's going to be sold off eventually. So you turn whatever you want, or it could be something you've had sat in your workshop for kind of 2-3 years that you've just never done anything with. If you're happy to take some decent photos of that and send them through to us, we can get it listed and sold. And all the profits made from that are going straight into the fund to get this weekend happening. As well as that, if you don't want to donate a piece, or you think, oh no, I don't want to give them my work, then there is a fundraising link as well. So you can, if you just want to donate £1 or £2,
Can I just interrupt you there, Katie? That link for the GoFundMe is pinned to the top of the chat.
Yeah, that
so
one.
if anybody wants to go to the top link, click that, takes you to the GoFundMe.
Yeah. So anything you can donate to that would be great. If you don't want to send us anything in, click empty bank account into that GoFundMe, it'd be really helpful.
Yeah.
And in the same way, just to sort of drop in on that, is that if you're not in a position to do it financially, or in fact donate a piece, just sharing it out to people that would be just as helpful. So if you are in a position to push that GoFundMe out on your social media channels and push the sales page out, because that sales page, it doesn't have that many on there now, but we've got some really good work promised from some really well-known professional turners. I've had an email literally this evening from Les Thorne, who's got a piece ready to go. We've had so many people step forward and offer it. And to kind of clarify on what, to sort of touch on what Katie said, is the experience that these, I'm more part of the organization than I am part of the emerging, as being an emerging turner. Although reality is I probably fall into that bracket as well, because I'm 37. Realistically, anyone under the age of about 55 is probably classed as a young turner. And I know there's a few comments about Wayne's age, and we won't go there. But in the grand scheme of things, Wayne is still very much a young turner, and people should respect Wayne for that. Isn't that right, Wayne?
How much has he paid you to say that?
There's been no money exchanged hands at all with Wayne, but I must say that he's even if he doesn't necessarily look young, he's very much young at heart, and that's all that matters.
You weren't saying that because he's not in the chat at the moment.
No, he is. He's there. He's just said cheers, Dan. He's just thanked me for it. So
yeah. So to touch on it, we're not going to sit here and bore you all night with young turners and all this, that, and the other. But when you think about it, the only tuition I really had, and I can't can you even call it tuition? The only guidance I had before I went on this weekend was from Dan. So you can imagine.
Whoa! That is
to rescue me from the clutches of Dan's grasp. Just help.
just harsh.
I think you could possibly word it better, because that makes me sound really creepy now.
Oh no, he's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, remember that. Just remember he's paying your wages.
It's great to learn from other people.
Katie, he's all right.
He's all right. Yeah. No, we like Dan.
But to go back onto the topic of who the tutors are this year, there's so many people reference Glenn Lucas as being like the guru of ball turning. In terms of spindle turning, your people such as Richard Finlay and Dave Dolby and Steve Jones. Well, Richard Finlay and Dave Dolby are both the tutors at this coming weekend. So these emerging turners, these people that have been getting this opportunity to turn with these genuine hardened pros that are making full-time livings from their wood turning, and especially with the two that are doing it this time, based around production turning, there's very few opportunities that any of us within this chat would get to spend that much quality time with these people that have got a true understanding of spindle work.
Some time with a couple of those guys.
Yeah. So it's worth every penny. If we can get some money raised for it, even if it's only a small amount, it will be massive for some of these people involved. So yeah, but we won't bore you with it. But yeah.
So all I'm doing here is this is going to be blues and greens, and it'll look a lot worse before it looks better. Promise.
I was going to try and say something funny then, but I'm struggling to.
No, don't bother. Doesn't usually work.
What are you using? What are they spirit stains then?
These are chestnut spirit stains, yeah. And I did notice there was a comment by some Canadian bloke in the chat that save the foot. The foot is sacrificed. The foot is not staying. Don't care how much he cries about it.
Why is that? Is it because you've gone too deep inside?
It's an old joke.
Just checking.
It's an old joke. No, I'm only down to about half inch.
You don't have to justify yourself to me, Mark. I was just asking.
I can actually tell you exactly. There you go. That's where.
Oh, that's lovely. So yes, a little bit too deep then. Yeah. Okay.
No, that's a camera angle. Start. I'm actually using a combination of colours tonight, not to keep people happy, but because this was something I was taught recently. So I'm using chestnut spirit stains and Hampshire Sheen intrinsics.
And I'm just going to read this one out, and I've just read Pete's. I've just read Pete's comments. Sorry, I'll let you finish, Mark. Sorry,
I was going to say they do actually mix quite well.
So Pete's just supposedly repeated a question that was missed by, in his words, amateur earworms missed it last time. Mark, how do you get that tenon onto that IKEA vase?
Oh dear.
There was a follow-on to Woodwork Learner said,
He's
Mark,
only bitter because I didn't ask him to earworm.
Yeah, it's a very awkward situation sitting here, and the fact that you said to us privately that you didn't want any of them other ones on it, I think that's terrible. But you know, with me and Kate feel really privileged, so thank you. But what you said about all of those regulars was terrible. So there's another question on there that says, Mark, thought you would choose black and yellow. Plus,
I can bet that's either Steve Hale or Wivey Woodshed.
That is Woodwork Learner. Oh no, yes,
Woodwork.
it's Woodwork Learner. Yeah.
Woodwork Learner, all right.
Yeah, you are.
I noticed there weren't too many comments, or they've been filtered out or ignored about the fact that I'm colouring a piece with burr in it.
I did wonder if it had burr in it, but I didn't want to say anything. I thought it might just my eyes.
Just there. That's all. But that whole section there, that's all burr. I don't know if you can see it now.
It's just sacrilege.
So just there you can just see. That's all burr.
I
did actually have second thoughts, but
I've seen some really nice stabilised burr with colour, and it does look well, but I still think it's a little bit it's a bit on the edge, isn't it?
Now the trick with this process is don't just slap it on. There is method to my madness. The areas where the grain is highlighted are areas where I've put colour in certain order. And the trick is, I don't know if you notice on the board, you can't see on the board. See if I can go.
Just to mention about...
The camera's playing up a little bit tonight.
Right, you picked it. Someone had just mentioned about it being a little bit blurry, Mark, that's all. But I don't know if that's the colour or your camera.
No, I think it's the camera because it's blurry on my screen, but not on the live.
It might be the internet, folks, because I did have an internet outage just before we went live. So if it's my broadband, I do apologise.
Douglas Mungham has asked, is Fluffy okay?
Fluffy's fine. So the colours I'm putting on and I'm keeping in the order that I've put them on. And that'll make sense in a minute. Because this all goes on again.
You just read the comment I've read, presumably.
Yeah. Benjamin has just said he's been experimenting with mixing Yorkshire grit and True Grit into a new paste. The results were quite interesting. Not only did it taste weird, but it also got me high. So,
okay.
There we are. I would not recommend that, but whatever floats your boat, Ben.
I'm just looking for a paintbrush.
Didn't read the SDS.
Yeah. Oh, it says you've got 67 people watching and only 16 likes. First of all, how the hell are there 67 people watching? But 16 likes when there's
There's 62.
Oh, someone's. Oh, sorry, Mark. It's dropped off.
Sorry.
But as other people, earworms, great, well-respected earworms such as Wayne, who was told not to be on here tonight, does say they say smash that like,
He wasn't.
smash that thumbs up, people, is what they say. So that's what I'm going to do today. Smash that
He
thumbs up, people.
He wasn't told not to be. He just wasn't asked.
Well, I don't know what's worse, really, but
Well, to be ignored is better than to be rejected.
how many people have told you that, Mark?
In my life, loads.
Is that what you tell yourself when you're looking in the mirror on a night?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not anymore, though. I'm loved. I'm loved.
No, you are. You are in a strange and interesting way. Yeah. Someone also pointed out that, do you know there's a hole in the side of your vase?
I do.
There's multiple, I think.
There are multiple inclusions.
And what do you call, so if you go through the bottom of a bowl, that's referred to as funnel club. What happens if you go through the side of your vase like you've done, Mark?
You become, it's a part of a sieve. It becomes a sieve.
Okay. Right.
Pasta strainer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It is starting to look reasonable, that, Mark, to be fair.
Well, I hope you like it, because this is my donation to the auction.
Oh, is that a genuine statement, or are you just trying to make everyone feel better?
No, this was always this
That's
piece.
what he said. You're not listening to him, Daniel.
No, I mean, what people don't realise is that I've been sat here logging on and logging off for the last 30 minutes because I kept pressing the close button. So
now, I've used a paintbrush just here because there's an inclusion. I wanted to get down in there, and there's an inclusion there. So I used the brush to get a bit of paint down in there, stain down in there. And now I do it all over again in the same order. So where I put the blue before, I need to put the blue again.
Mick Jews has said it's not uncommon for Mark to have holes in the wrong places. I'm not quite sure what he means by that, but
no, I don't know either.
Why are professional turners so anti-foot?
I'm not. I purposely left a foot on mine. Not a chucking point, a foot, but it looked all right. I'm not anti-foot.
I'm not anti-foot, but the foot has to be proportionate or part of your original design. You don't just have a foot for the sake of having a foot. If it needs a foot, leave a foot.
I think I'm anti-visible chucking point. I'm anti. I like people to pick a piece up and question how it's been held, whether that's leaving a foot on it or not. But I want them to question. I don't want to see any jaw marks. I want them to question how it's so a kind of if you hear people banding on about sort of mortises in the bottom. Well, the reason I don't like them is because people can pick it up, and if you get a wood turner on your craft fair stand or at your gallery, and a wood turner will pick it up and know how you've done it. And I like to be a little bit beyond that. I want people to question how they've done it, as opposed to just know how to do it. That's my argument, but
I think some pieces suit a foot, some pieces don't, but it's having that eye to tell when they do and when they don't, and being able to execute it in a way that it doesn't just look like you can't be bothered turning the chucking point off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I just think some people go to so much effort to make their chucking points effectively draw their eye into the chucking point, while still leaving it as a physical chucking point. Some of the best ones I've seen are where people carve they'll do an internal chucking point, but then they'll carve the edges of it, so it ends up with like a 4-point or a 3-point foot. And I think those look really good. But again, they've made the effort to get rid of it.
I think even if you're going to do a mortise, because I used to love mortises, I don't anymore, I prefer tenons now. Yeah. If you're going to leave a mortise in, at least do some sort of decoration in the bottom of the mortise to show that you've thought about it. It's not just you've done it, left it there, and forgotten it. It's. I think it's important that you show some consideration. Just do just a couple of lines, or a bit of texture, or color it. Just color the mortise. Do the mortise, paint some color in the bottom. You've done something with it, which I think is important.
That's an interesting point by Pete, actually, to be fair. He said, Dan, how many wood turners don't know how to cut off a tenon? Question mark. Well, I mean, maybe there's an opportunity for videos there, because, and I'm sure Wayne's probably covered it before, and I'm sure Mike Walt's probably covered it before, but, you know, just, I guess, understanding the ways of taking it off is probably worth researching, because, you know, be it jam chucks or coal jaws, if you've got the money to invest in coal jaws.
Thanks for watching my channel there, Dan.
Yeah,
I did a whole live on, you know,
did you?
5 different ways to take off a tenon.
Did you?
It's
maybe
okay.
Maybe you need to push that one back out so people can see it, because people like me
Only a couple of months ago.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well,
yes.
You know, yeah.
People
That must have just been. I think that was at the point where my internet wasn't working. I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, where are we up to now? Where's my sanders here?
It is looking very nice, though.
It does. It's
how do you find your sanding sealer? Which sanding sealer are you using, by the way?
Chestnut.
What type are you? Are you acrylic? Are you
cellulose?
How do you find cellulose versus on top of the spirits?
Yeah, well, it gives the effect I want it to give.
That is a right cop out.
No. You wouldn't use acrylic on this, because the acrylic sealer will just seal the colors as they stand. And I want these colors. This needs to blend.
Okay, I just wanted you to confirm that. That's all we were asking. You don't need to get all precious about it.
No. I'm being all arty tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say arty? Oh, arty.
Arty.
Yeah.
Arty.
Right.
My girlfriend's just sent me a message on Messenger, which means she's probably watching Coronation
Street.
Street.
It's not a photograph again, is it?
No, because I haven't seen her in the chat. So
you need to stop sending them by accident to people, to be fair.
Right, just goes on quick as you can.
That's a don't tell him, Kay.
What he said.
Don't,
because you started it. You started.
Don't pass that one on to him, because it'll hurt him.
There's none in this.
Dan and Katie, did you see my comment about painting and stuff?
You can just read it.
Don't try and hide stuff from me, because the chat's coming up on my screen.
Yeah, well, Mark's just referenced some tear out on a bowl. Sorry, Wayne. Sorry, just referenced some tear out from a bowl in Harrogate. Now, I don't know what he's talking about personally.
That bowl was naked.
Fake verdigris. Question, Mark, are you trying to fake verdigris?
No.
Okay. No, then.
No.
Dan's brain, what's verdigris?
Yeah, I'm going to Google that now.
Copper goes green. The green is verdigris.
I call that oxidization, you see.
No, it's verdigris with copper. Right, that's 2 good coats.
So did Dan, Wayne. Dan also offered to help. I think they all did it as bad as each other.
Whoa! Actually, I lost out in that battle because I had to go and sell a lathe.
No, you did not.
Can I just say that bowl that I had trouble with?
And Dan was there going, "No, I can get the tear out whilst I was trying to make a sale." And he was like, "Oh no!" And then didn't get the tear out while this woman stood there waiting to spend a load of money with us. That's what happened.
Les Thorne came along, and he had a go.
Did he?
And he couldn't get the tear out either. And his professional opinion was, "No, it's knackered. Throw it away."
Is that what he said?
So we gave it to a punter, and I've never heard what happened to it. It was a piece of really.
So as I said, the focus is still blurry. I think it is a bit blurry on the.
It's when you zoom in. I think when you're zoomed out a bit, it doesn't seem as blurry. When you zoom in, it kind of loses focus a little bit.
Oh, Go with that one then.
No.
I'm lagging, so I can't see it yet. No.
Right. So that is a bit of sanding sealer. Just dry the bits off where it's still a little moist. And oh, where is it? I've got 200 tins of the stuff and I can't find it.
Martin's just put. He said Martin Ford says, to be honest, Dan, I leave the mortise in the bottom of most pieces I sell at craft markets and decorate it with a Sorby texturing tool. Wonky is right. Only wood turners look at bases. It's true. Wood turners do look at bases, but I think
Oh, they are.
I think that's my point. Really, I think I'd like to, when I do something, I quite like them to just have to question how it's done a little bit more. Whether it be someone who's has no idea what wood turning is, or someone who does. I think it's always nice to just create a little bit of conversation in their own head. But that's each to their own, and doing it with a texturing tool, something like that. It's there's nothing wrong with that. It's just putting some thought and consideration into it instead of just kind of leaving it.
Yeah, it wants to be connected, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just applying a bit of True Grit now. Controversial. True Grit over colour. It won't take all of this off. In fact, it won't take hardly any of it off because I've sealed it.
Anyone would question why you were using it then, really?
It's a blending agent.
I thought that's what sanding sealer were for.
Sanding sealer seals the colour and blends, and this smooths the sanding sealer, denibs, and continues to blend.
I can see your thumb through that hole.
Everybody's suggesting that you gold leaf your entire inside now, Mark.
Yeah, I know, they said.
Yeah. We're still referencing the piece here.
I hope so.
Question: do you see Pete's ring? Oh, okay, yeah.
I've already. I beat
you. You've just covered that one.
I have just covered that one.
Oh.
As you can see from the paper, it's not taking a lot of colour off. We'll just turn the speed up a little bit.
So the black gloves that you wear, are they just for turning, or are they for your serial killer job on a weekend?
They're from a serial killer job.
Okay.
No, they're actually for using the stains. I just haven't bothered to take them off.
They look like some sort of creepy leather driving gloves from here.
No, they're just black gloves.
Gold calligraphy ink is the way to go over leaf. Cheaper and shines, says Kev at 9K Creations.
I just put a piece of paper towel over a sponge. Just so the paper towel goes in towards the inclusions a bit more. It doesn't knock my fingers out so much.
CA finish of the whole thing, Mark.
Hey?
Pete, are you proposing a CA finish? I think someone suggested.
Oh, someone's being funny.
That'd be quite something, wouldn't it?
I was going to say, if that's my apprentice, he better not be saying that, because he's working tomorrow.
Who's your apprentice?
And I know Daniel.
No, it wasn't. It was Jason Lebron who originally mentioned
But he said he was going to watch tonight. So Daniel, don't be putting anything in the chat about CA finishes.
So is Daniel going to feature on some of your lives then?
He will at some point, yes.
Yeah. Does he know yet?
Yes. Part of the agreement.
Oh.
He's working with me today and tomorrow and Thursday. We're off to Exmouth on Thursday to pick up an oak tree in a van. It's all very exciting.
Oh.
He's going to be helping me rough turn 15 bowls. Right, let's have a look at that. Now I've got Yorkshire grit in all these little crevices.
Have you got Yorkshire grit in them all?
Not Yorkshire grit, sorry. Freudian slip. It's because Ben was talking about Yorkshire grit.
It's all right. Don't worry.
I know.
You know.
We don't.
But we brought it up now.
So just a bit of air blows it out.
Mark doesn't get in such a mess with ink. Gold leaf gets everywhere, says Pete. Mark, have you got your apprentice looking for the missing cover? Presumably he's referencing your grinder.
Well, see now. Well, there's no missing about it. They're over there. And it was noted earlier that it wasn't covered up because technically it's not being used. So it's not committing any offences.
No.
It's only if you saw me using it without covers that I could technically be in trouble.
It's like it's saying if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. It's that kind of old adage, isn't it?
Yes. If Mark sharpens his gouges without covers and there's nobody here to see it.
Did it actually happen?
Did it actually happen?
It's
Exactly.
very true. It's very true. But we're going to end up with some sort of philosophy talk soon, so we have to be careful.
Philosophizing woodturners.
Yeah, maybe that's a new channel, like it's a new blog that could happen. Some sort of, I don't know.
Right, so I'm just over 1,000 now, and just buffing off the true grit.
Oh.
Yorkshire finishes true grit.
It's just a location.
Yorkshire made.
Don't start being racist now. There's no need.
Good job you don't live in Lancashire, isn't it?
It's a good job we don't take the mick out of Cornish all the time, isn't it?
Now this is going to get a lacquer finish.
Yeah, we had a question from DJ there. How old do you have to be to apply for the emerging turners? I believe that last year they were running it 18 to 35. I think all the spaces have been filled for this year as far as I'm aware, but it's kind of an ongoing thing. The reason it was set up as an emerging turners with that age group is because you kind of have the AWGB who run the young turners, which is kind of probably your age at 14, and then there isn't really anything after that. So I don't know, it might be worth approaching and asking the question for next year, because I'm sure they'd be glad to accept anybody on there, but it was set at that age last year for that reason, I think.
I think that, you one that you want to be looking at, DJs, your AWGB youth training.
Yeah, I think you've been doing some, haven't you, DJ? I've been seeing some posts about it from Worshipful Company. You were down with somebody this last week, I think. So I think he's already involved with the AWGB, if I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's a natural step now with. I don't think when the RPT set it up, it wasn't to step on the toes of what the AWGB was doing. It was a follow on, really. It was moving people from youth training, making sure that the young generation are doing it safely and with the right mentors and things like that, as opposed to just, with no disrespect to any of the YouTubers on here, there are some YouTubers that are extremely unsafe, and I would never recommend them. My point being is that a lot of the younger generation of turners, and I'm referring to young generation being under, realistically under 50, under 55.
YouTube would be the first place they would
go to YouTube as a first point of call. So yeah, the RPT one was set up for, if you do your AWGB and you really like it and you really see that there might be a future in as a career for you in the future, then that's where the emerging turner steps in, where it's picking up these emerging turners and giving a professional tuition on the premise that they're going to turn that into a career, into a profession, as opposed to just necessarily doing it safely.
I kind of missed out on all of the AWGB side of things. I didn't have I started at a club, which it wasn't necessarily a tuition-based club. It was a kind of, you come and you do what you need to do, and you'll have somebody there guiding you, but it's not necessarily teaching. It's 15 old men in a room saying, no, do it this way, no, do it that way, no, do it the other way, and you kind of get a bit confused. So my first official lesson, I went over to Neil Lawton in York, and I didn't do that till January last year. So up until January last year, I've been turning almost 8 years, and that was the first time I'd ever turned with a professional, somebody kind of apart from Dan, obviously.
Just checking.
The first time I had gone out and learnt with somebody else who was kind of respected and well kind of versed in wood turning. I kind of avoided the YouTube front with, you know, there's a few in here who I would recommend now. But a lot of them, when I was around, you didn't really pick up on them. And that, even me as a 15, 16-year-old was picking up on half the unsafe stuff that was happening. So it was putting competent and safe training in place. So doing with the AWGB, which I think I have seen you doing. You're already halfway there. And by the sounds of it, this RPT thing is something that wants to be carried on. And I know that, you know, there's a few of us setting up this fundraising efforts now. Now, a huge ideal for me would be to turn that into something that was consistent. So it's not out of reach, and I think it will be something that progressively keeps going. But yeah, you're halfway there with it. The way to bring young turners is you need a pretty face. Let me know when you need me.
Yeah, I mean that's where I've kind of stepped into the breach really.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Wayne's questioning my.
Dan's a professional.
He has every right to question my professionalism sometimes. But there is also the question mark over why Wayne isn't already on the RPT unless he has an adverse reason for not being on there.
Mm-hmm.
Should be.
Wayne has been turning for decades and most definitely should be on there.
Yes, absolutely.
Steve Ashlerner said, "Does mental age count? Because I'm about 9." Well, if you're about 9, you're too young for any of the training.
Yeah. Stick to YouTube.
Yeah, I'd stick to your actual age if you're going by that one. No one can question it.
That's just to be clear. Hi, Steve. I was trying to sort of place the name in my head when you came in the shop earlier. So I'm sorry if I looked really blank, but that is normally my normal expression to me there.
Now I've chickened out going parting off too far because there's an inclusion down here. This was burr and there was spalting around the other side. So it would be an awful shame to lose this piece for trying to be a hero and part down further. Mm-hmm. So just part it down as much as I needed to. And then just use a pull saw to take the rest off.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a comment from Pete there that says, "Ask 10 turners how to do something, expect at least 13 different answers. Problem is, they're all probably right." That is a huge. It's not even wrong. The first thing, so we teach and we run lessons, and the first thing I say to any student I have is, there is no right way. There is no one right way to do something. You'll find something that works for you, but as long as it's safe and you're competent in what you're doing, then it's right. And it's something that it's so hard to wrap your head around. But when you've got it's understanding the different ways and understanding that everybody has a different way of doing something, which is why it's so good to get out with the different people, because I turn differently to Dan turns, but we still get a good result at the end of it. Everybody turns different ways, and there's nothing wrong with turning differently to somebody else as long as it's safe. And that's the huge thing about the practice and the teaching is that, you want to be safe and you want to know that you're being safe. But yeah, so it's absolutely bang on, is that, Pete?
Wonky Workshop said, and I don't know if Wonky Workshop is one of the, you might be able to tell from the profile picture, is maybe one of the handles. Is that what it is? Okay, right. So Dan's put on there, and Danny's on the Emerging Turners this year, this coming Emerging Turners, and actually some of Dan's work's already listed. Actually, just put important to realise that.
I don't know if it is actually.
Yeah,
some of Dan's is that Dan was one of the first images up onto the selling page. Actually, it's important to realise that the ETP fundraiser is not just for this year. The hope is that it'll be an ongoing fund moving forward, supporting future generations. The figure that's on there, we've put a £12,000 target, and that's to cover this year's event. But any surplus at all that runs forwards will be going on and will only ever be spent on developing up and coming emerging turners. That money that's going into the RPT fund, into the bank account, is ring fenced purely and solely for developing young turners in whatever way we can do that, be it through the Emerging Turners program, And if for some reason that weren't to continue, that money is still ring fenced for young, up and coming, emerging professionals.
That's good. All right. So I have turned it round, and I've now got it held internally, very, very gently.
A bit of router mat there.
No, I was thinking of doing it, but I don't think I need to.
Is that a mandrel saver that you
Yes,
put there?
it is.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's a flat end.
Right.
All I'm looking for is support towards the center. Just to get rid of most of this, then I'll sand the last bit out.
Pete says, Mark, when I'm coming down to build the quiet room and pinch them jaws.
Oh, these piranha jaws are brilliant.
I've got to say, I'm more interested to know what sordid room that you're building with Pete, to be honest.
We're building the room to hide this.
To hide the screams. Oh, okay. I'll let you off then. I thought it was something a lot more sordid than that.
No, it's very loud.
Yeah.
I found a place that does the doors, Pete. 35 quid for a double glazed door. Right, so I've changed everything round, laid back to 0, bring the speed up slowly. Spindle gouge. In towards the bottom. Squeezing towards me. Squeezy fingers.
Klondike Craftsman says, this makes me nervous.
It only makes him nervous because I've gone through the bottom so many pieces from this direction.
75 watching, no pressure.
What would be nice, though, is if you were to go through the bottom, you could turn it into like a light fitting.
Shut up, Dan.
I'm just saying. You've got to think on the positives, if these things were to happen.
So I'm just getting a sharper.
Look, Kim's in.
Hi, Kim.
She's working out what time you're going to be ready.
No, she lives in Bedford. I live here.
She lives where?
She lives in Bedford.
Just enough distance away. For her.
25 miles away.
25 miles? Yeah. At least Alt Soda should have dropped off you by the time you get to her house.
We just spent 4 days together. It was brilliant. It's our first day back at work today.
Put a foot back on.
No, I'm not going to put a bloody foot back on.
You see, Klondike Craftsman said if you go through the bottom, you can put a foot back on. Wayne said if you forget... Oh, my God, it's just gone out of my view. Hang on. If you forget what Katie and Dan have talked about this evening, which is Emerging Turners, Katie will be on my live on the 19th of April. A little plug there from Wayne the Woodturner.
I think Mark's supposed to be on there as well.
I'll be there as well. Wayne, chuck your link in, mate.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, down there, innit?
Because neither of these two know how to do it.
Whoa.
I know how to do it, I just don't have it copied, so...
I don't think you can, because I'm not sure that you're a moderator, Katie.
Well, that's just not right.
I don't think you're a moderator, Katie.
I didn't see yours being highlighted either, Dan.
I think it's because I'm under TM.
I know,
on this one.
I've had to make a different one for tonight anyway, so even if I was, it won't matter.
320, 240. Guess what else you're doing tomorrow, Dan, if you're watching? Not you, the other Dan.
I can't say Dan.
Daniel.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bit of J-Flex by Clean Sport. Soon to be available on mail order from myself.
See that spanner next to my name, Katie, there?
No, I don't. I must have gone blind in the last 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's because I've got an admin right on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was right to do that because that's all bird down there. So not a good idea to part all the way through. Right. So on the bottom. And get rid of that. Where's my little sponge gone out of here a minute ago? Do I know what I did with my little sponge?
Funny enough, no.
I don't know if anybody saw me put it down somewhere. The audience are usually pretty good at spotting.
Katie, you'll have a spanner when you come on my show, says Wayne.
Yeah, in your face.
Oh,
No,
what? I want a spanner on Wayne's. I feel like collecting these spanners are quite a prestigious thing.
No. Well, they can't be because you've got one, so.
Yeah.
That's true.
They are very nice jaws, to be fair, are those, Mark.
They're a straight rip-off of the Vicmark Piranha jaws.
Mm.
The camera is going out of focus a bit. But they are proper good. So, put that over there.
Any jaw marks on the rim, says Klondike Craftsman.
And hodgepodge.
No, there won't be because those Piranha jaws don't leave marks when you get them to the right size. So there's no jaws. No jaw marks.
Mick Jew says Katie ought to have Shug's spanner, Wayne.
Shirking his responsibilities there, that's what he's doing, Wayne.
Sorry, but I do have to turn this back on.
I'm feeling like I may have missed a private joke between Steve Ash and Kev at 9K Creations.
Right. So if I change to that camera, I'd stop picking your nose, you two, because you're both coming back on in a minute.
Oh, I thought you'd done it then. We're just going to put my trousers back on.
Can't get the light right. This camera is one of my not so good ones. See if I can do it with this one. So there you go. There's your better colors. Blues and greens. I might just have to go over that bit again with
question
brush.
mark, are you going to lacquer it? It says.
Taking it off.
Yeah, I am going to lacquer it. But that includes getting my spray booth out. And me.
Yeah, sorry, Andy Bundiro. I realised that I said too much.
And it's all done inside. You can see the inclusions down the bottom. Where's my paintbrush?
I think Jennifer might be hitting on you, Mark. She just said, stunning, Mark. Presumably she's not talking about your face.
She's not talking about my face. She's either talking about the piece or a raspberry Mark.
She actually said that's stunning, to be fair.
Yeah, nice big open.
That is very nice, actually. I don't mean to sound surprised, but that is very nice.
I'll bring you two in. Hold on. You ready?
Yeah.
Getting themselves looking good. That's not bad, 54 minutes. So there you go. There's the piece. That's going to be donated to the Emerging Turners auction. That's my piece that's going in. I hope it makes some money for you guys.
That's very nice.
it's got a bit of everything going in it. The way I've coloured it, you can still see the grain under the stains because I've put the colour on in relation to where the grain was flowing. So you can still, and you got the burry bit just there and all the knots and inclusions. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Lovely.
Sorry you guys didn't get to see much of the Halloween or any of the Halloween, except for go back and go back and watch in February. You can see me start the piece. I believe I had Wayne. Who did I have? Wayne, Jamie, and Ruby. I think. No, Pete. With you.
The old team were
The
it.
old team. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Martin. I think it was Green Oak, wasn't it, Mark?
No, this wasn't Green Oak. We think it was either Beech or Ash.
Oh,
There was some talk there was some talk about when we first started turning it that it was Ash, and then by the end of it, still say we didn't see the Halloween as IKEA did it. I saw that, Pete. John Hayes is late. Yes, you are. I'm just finishing. But that's the piece we've done tonight. Finished all the colouring. I did all the Halloween beforehand, so it's taken me an hour to colour and finish that. And that'll get my usual regime of 15 coats of lacquer on that.
There's a lot of comments about my hair.
I've not seen any about your hair.
I've heard a number of comments about my hair now, and it's very hurtful. Look at it.
I've seen one comment.
I think it's to do with the fact that it's a stark contrast with my hair versus Mark's.
Yeah, my hair's not there.
Mine's
We sort of go. Yeah, we go ridiculous middle ground. Katie's just
it's just
knee length. Yeah, knee length. Pete says, didn't we end up with chestnut? It might be chestnut. Yeah, might be chestnut. But anyway, it's pretty piece. And I'm really pleased with how that colour's come out. Right. So, thank you to Katie, thank you to Dan for coming in and helping tonight and promoting the emerging turners. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody wants to donate to the GoFundMe, the comment is pinned at the top. Dan has put the link in for everything, haven't you, Dan?
I did before.
Yeah.
I will do it again, just to be. I think. But yeah, we was just saying as well, just to kind of touch on before we go as well, is that it's not just if you're not in a financial position to donate, and there's a lot of people that aren't at the moment. If just a few shares, just sharing it out there would be amazing.
It's all over Facebook at the moment as well, so
yeah.
It's on my Facebook page, I believe, somewhere. Go back and find it there, and you can share it from there.
That the link I've just dropped in there is like a home page, and it's got the New Monday page link, and it's also got the GoFundMe page within that, and it gives you a little bit of a brief description on what the Emerging Turner program is about. So
John's just asked, how would you create an artificial cutout if nature hadn't already provided it? What you could do is use a Dremel with a couple of Dremel bits and pierce it into an organic shape. And then with a flap sander or a sanding wheel, you could round the edges over to make it look artificial. But in all honesty, you're never going to get it to look truly organic like nature does. So try it, but just be prepared that it won't look quite as organic as that does. And it actually looks a bit like sort of South America or Africa, a bit, doesn't it? Does. It's a bit like Africa. Right. I'll get pictures of that done up and I'll send them off to you guys. Oh,
yeah,
no,
no,
Nathan.
You can send it. You can send them to Nathan. You can send them to either of us. Any of us. We've all got access to it, and we're all uploading at the moment. So
I'll do it in the box. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you whenever I'm on the next time, but I'll definitely see you probably tomorrow night in Wayne's Live, and next week with Katie back in Wayne's Live with
Yes.
JP. Yeah, so that's it for me. I'm pressing the button. I pressed the button.